My stepbrother Sean, 40, showed up to my baby shower and dropped a bomb that almost destroyed my relationship. What was supposed to be a celebration turned into chaos when Sean revealed a secret about me in front of everyone. The betrayal cut deeper than I could have imagined, and the fallout left the whole family divided. This shocking story proves some family members are your biggest enemies. I never thought my baby shower would turn into the worst family event of my life. It was supposed to be a sweet, cozy Saturday afternoon in my mom's backyard. My wife, Emily, was glowing at 7 months pregnant, and we had all the pastel decorations, balloons, cupcakes, It's a Boy, banner, the whole Pinterest stream. Friends and family gathered around, laughing, playing those silly games where you guess the baby's due date. And then Sean showed up. Sean is my stepbrother, 40 years old, and to put it bluntly, we've never really gotten along. He's one of those guys who always has to be a centre of attention. He'll drink too much at family events, dominate conversations, and throw passive-aggressive comments whenever something good happens for me. Still, I didn't expect him to pull this. He walked in late, wearing a button-down shirt that screamed, "I'm here to cause trouble." My mom gave him a hug, though I could see her tense up. Emily tried to be polite, saying, "Hey Sean, glad you could make it." He gave her this smirk that made me instantly uncomfortable. We all tried to ignore him and keep the mood light. My younger cousin Lily was running around with a plate of cupcakes, my dad was joking with Emily's parents, and the vibe was cheerful. For about an hour, everything seemed fine. Then the gifts started. As Emily opened tiny onesies and baby blankets, Sean grabbed his drink, cleared his throat, and said loudly, "Well, I guess this is as good a time as any to tell the truth." The whole yard went silent. I swear even the birds stopped chirping. Emily froze mid-smile, and I felt my stomach drop. "What truth?" my dad asked cautiously. Sean leaned back in his chair, grinning like he'd been waiting for this moment. "Don't you think Emily's little friend deserves a seat here too?" Emily looked at him, confused and terrified at the same time. "What are you talking about?" Sean shrugged, took another sip, and said, "Come on, you really think no one's noticed? The late nights, the business meetings. I've seen you, Emily, with another guy." The words hit like a bomb. My wife's eyes went wide, my mom gasped, and my aunt actually dropped her plate of food on the grass. My heart started pounding in my ears. "That's not true," Emily stammered, shaking her head. "Sean, stop it." But he just smirked harder, looking at me. "I thought you deserved to know before you raised someone else's kid." The silence that followed was unbearable. My friends and cousins were staring, some whispering. My dad muttered, "Jesus Christ." Sean, while Emily's mom immediately stood up and snapped, "How dare you say something like that?" I couldn't move. My whole body was numb. I looked at Emily, tears welling up in her eyes, and then at Sean, who looked smug, like he'd finally won some twisted game. And that's when I realised that this wasn't about Emily at all. It was about me. I swear time slowed down after Sean said that. Everyone was looking at me, waiting for my reaction, but my brain was just a blank. All I could hear was my own heartbeat pounding in my ears. Emily whispered, "It's not true, I swear to you." Her hands were shaking as she tried to hold mine, but Sean didn't stop. "Don't act innocent," Sean said, raising his voice. "I saw you outside Murphy's bar last month. You weren't with Sean. He jabbed his thumb toward me. You were with some tall guy. Arm around you. Looked pretty cozy." Emily gasped. "That was my coworker, Adam. He walked me to my car after a late shift." "That's it. You're twisting this." But Sean leaned forward, his eyes locked on me like he was daring me to believe him. "Come on, man. Open your eyes. You think she's really working late all those nights? I thought you deserved the truth." My cousin Lily, bless her heart, whispered loudly, "Oh my God," which just made the tension 10 times worse. Emily's mom jumped in, her face red with anger. "Sean, you're disgusting. You come here, to their baby shower, and start throwing lies. Shame on you." But Sean wouldn't let up. He smirked and shrugged. "Hey, I'm just looking out for my brother. Better he hears it from me now than finds out later." That's when my dad finally stood up, his voice booming. "Enough, Sean, this isn't the place for your nonsense." Sean stood up too, squaring his shoulders. "Nonsense, you all just want to bury your heads in the sand. Fine, pretend everything's perfect. But don't say I didn't warn you when the truth comes out." The air felt poisonous. Emily was crying quietly next to me, and my mom looked torn between hugging her and screaming at Sean. My aunt muttered something about family drama always ruining events, which didn't help. I finally snapped out of my daze and said, "You need to leave." Sean smirked again. "Sure, kick me out for telling the truth. Typical." But I stood my ground. "Get out, Sean, right now." Emily's dad, who had been silent until then, walked over, towering over Sean. "You heard him, out." Sean grabbed his jacket, muttering, "Fine, but you'll see." Then he stormed out the gate, slamming it so hard the balloons dyed their pot. The second he was gone, everyone started talking at once. My mom hugged Emily, whispering, "Don't you listen to him, sweetheart." My aunt started grilling Emily with questions. My cousin Lily was texting under the table, no doubt spreading the drama already. I just sat there, staring at the half-eaten cake on the table, my stomach in knots. I wanted to believe Emily with every fibre of my being, but the way Sean had said it, the confidence in his voice, it planted a seed of doubt I couldn't shake. And Emily saw it on my face. "Please," she whispered, her voice breaking, "tell me you don't believe him." I didn't answer. And that silence was worse than anything Sean had said. The rest of the baby shower was surreal. People tried to keep it light, laughing awkwardly at the games and opening gifts, but the tension hung in the air like a storm cloud. Every laugh sounded forced, every smile a little too tight. I couldn't focus on the decorations or the cupcakes. All I could see was Sean's smug face, replaying his words over and over. Emily tried to cheer me up, holding my hand and whispering, "He's lying, I swear he's lying." But even her voice, soft and trembling, couldn't erase the doubt gnawing at me. I kept thinking, what if she isn't telling the whole truth? My mom noticed my distant stare and came over, placing a hand on my shoulder. "Sean's always causing trouble, don't let him get to you," she said gently. I nodded, but I wasn't sure if she understood how deep this cut. Then my aunt, bless her nosy heart, whispered, "Maybe we should ask Emily about those late nights, just to be sure." Her words, meant to be cautious, felt like a blade twisting in my chest. I couldn't handle it. I excused myself and went to the backyard, where Sean had just left his jacket. I held it in my hands, thinking about the chaos he caused. Why does he have to do this? Why now, of all times? Emily followed me, tears in her eyes. Sean ruined everything. Why would he do this at my baby shower? She whispered, her voice cracking. I don't know her. I admitted, the anger rising in my chest. But I don't know if I can just ignore what he said either. I need to know you're telling me the truth, Emily. She took a shaky breath. I am. Sean is lying. He's jealous, that's all. He's always tried to drive a wedge between us. Remember last year at Christmas, he pulled the same nonsense, but you trusted me then. Please, trust me now. Her words should have been enough. I wanted them to be. But the seed of doubt Sean planted felt stubborn, twisting my gut. Before I could say anything more, my dad came out, looking furious. Sean called, he said, brandishing his phone. He's telling everyone else in the family more lies. He's spinning this story like you cheated, Emily. I felt my stomach drop again. My mom gasped, Emily's eyes widened, and I could see her hands trembling. I felt helpless, trapped in a storm I didn't start but had to weather. Then, out of nowhere, Lily, my cousin, spoke up. You know he's full of it. Sean always exaggerates to make himself look heroic. We saw Emily every night at work. Stop letting him ruin this day. It was like someone flipped a switch. Her words gave me a little clarity. I looked at Emily, seeing the sincerity in her eyes. I saw the tiny baby kicks under her shirt and realised this day was supposed to be about our baby, not Sean. I grabbed Emily's hand and squeezed it. Okay, I said, my voice firm. We're going to get through this, together. She nodded, relief flooding her face, and I felt a small spark of hope. But I knew Sean wasn't done yet. The storm wasn't over. By the time the gifts were mostly opened and the cake partially eaten, Sean had already done his damage. But I didn't realise just how far he'd go until my aunt's phone buzzed. She glanced at it, her face paling. Oh guys, she muttered, holding it up. Sean just texted the family group chat. He sent screenshots of texts he claims are from Emily with some guy. He's basically saying she's been... Oh. The room went silent. Even the backyard breeze felt heavy. My mom's hand flew to her mouth. Emily froze, staring at the phone in disbelief. No, those aren't mine, she cried, her voice shaking. Photoshop this. I grabbed the phone from my aunt, my blood boiling. The messages looked convincing at a glance, intimate texts, flirty remarks, timestamps, but something felt off. The tone was just slightly wrong. Emily's words didn't read like her at all. Sean, I muttered, storming into the living room where he disappeared a moment ago. You're lying, this isn't true. Sean leaned back in a chair, feigning innocence. I'm just showing you reality. You didn't want to hear it from me, fine, but I gave you proof. Proof? That's photoshopped. I shouted, grabbing a printout he'd left on the counter. These aren't real. Emily stepped up beside me, fury in her eyes. Sean, I've never even met this guy. How dare you? How dare you try to ruin my baby shower and our lives with lies? My dad came in, his face red with anger. Sean, you've crossed the line. This isn't just trauma anymore, this is harassment. Sean laughed, a sharp, bitter laugh. Oh, come on, you act like I'm the villain here. I'm saving my brother from disaster. I don't need saving. I snapped, my hands trembling. Emily is not lying, and you are destroying our family. Just leave now. The tension was suffocating. My mom stepped forward, grabbing Sean by the arm. Enough, out, go, before I call the police. Finally, with a smirk that was more of a sneer, Sean grabbed his jacket, muttering under his breath about how everyone was too blind to see the truth, and left, slamming the door so hard it shook the frame. The silence afterward was deafening. Emily collapsed onto the garden bench, tears flowing freely. I sat next to her, pulling her into my arms. I'm so sorry, I whispered. I should have defended you faster. She shook her head. No, you just needed to see me. I get why you doubted for a second, but he's gone now, and we still have our baby, that's what matters. My mom, dad, and aunt joined us, each offering hugs and apologies for letting Sean's lies create chaos. Slowly, the garden felt lighter. The decorations, the cupcakes, even the balloons seemed to breathe again. But in the back of my mind, I knew this wouldn't be the last we'd see of Sean's interference. After Sean left, the backyard felt eerily quiet, almost as if the chaos had sucked the air out of the room. Emily and I sat on the bench, holding hands, letting the adrenaline drain from our bodies. She leaned her head against my shoulder, her tears soaking my shirt, and I realised how close we had come to losing everything over a lie. I can't believe he would do this at a baby shower, of all places, Emily said quietly, her voice still shaky. It should have been about celebrating our baby, not this. I nodded, feeling a mixture of guilt and relief. I know, I'm sorry I didn't immediately shut him down. I doubted you, even for a second. I should have defended you faster. She shook her head, trying to smile through the tears. You were stunned, I get it, but you're here now, and that's what matters. We get through this together. We spent the next hour talking to family members who were left. My mom hugged Emily tightly, apologising for letting Sean's drama cast a shadow on the day. My dad grilled my aunt lightly for almost questioning Emily, but she quickly admitted she was just being nosy. Even Lily, my younger cousin, stayed behind to help clean up and cheer Emily up. It was small gestures, but they reminded me that not everyone was under Sean's spell of lies. The gifts that were opened earlier felt almost forgotten. The cupcake sat half-eaten, and the banner fluttered lazily in the wind, but for a moment, the world felt normal again. Emily and I shared quiet laughs about some of the ridiculous baby shower gains, and I felt a flicker of the joy that Sean had tried to steal. Later, when everyone else had gone home, I pulled Emily aside. We need to make sure Sean doesn't get another chance to interfere like this, maybe even set some boundaries with him. Emily nodded, her hand on my chest. Agreed, but let's focus on us first. Our baby, this is our life, not his drama. I took a deep breath, letting the tension leave my shoulders. The betrayal had stung, but it also reminded me of the strength in our relationship. Sean had tried to manipulate the narrative to make us doubt each other, but he failed. His interference had revealed the depth of trust we actually had to trust that, despite everything, could withstand lies and attempts at sabotage. That night, as we cleaned up the last of the decorations, I realised something. Family can be messy, sometimes painfully so. But it's the people who stand by you when the chaos hits. Emily, my parents, even cousins like Lily who matter. And those are the people I choose to focus on. Sean may have tried to destroy our day, our relationship, even our trust, but he didn't win. Not today. We closed the backyard gate, turned off the lights, and finally, for the first time that day, felt a sense of calm. The storm had passed at least for now, and as Emily rested her hand on her growing belly, I knew this was just the beginning of our life together, stronger for the trials we had survived. The following week was tense, but quieter. Sean didn't contact any of us, which was a small relief. Still, the memory of his betrayal hung over our heads like a dark cloud. I decided it was time to address the aftermath, not just sweep it under the rug. I started with a family meeting at my parents' house. Emily came too, looking calm but still wary. My mom and dad were there, along with my aunt and Lily. We all sat in the living room, the atmosphere heavy with the weight of what had happened. Sean can't keep doing this, I said firmly, looking around the room. He interferes, spreads lies, and expects us to just take it. We need boundaries. My dad nodded. I've already blocked him from the family chat. He won't have a platform to manipulate anyone else. Emily chimed in, her voice steady, and I want to make it clear to him that any future attempts to interfere with our relationship or our family, especially regarding the baby, will not be tolerated. We have a right to peace and privacy. My aunt, who had been quiet, finally spoke up. I think we all got caught up in his nonsense for a minute, but we see it now. He thrives on drama. He wanted us to question Emily, and you, Sean, but we won't give him that satisfaction again. Lily, always blunt, added, honestly, he just wants attention. We ignore him, he loses. It felt like a weight lifted off my chest. I realised that Sean's power came from the chaos he created and the doubts he planted. By standing together, we were taking back control. Still, I couldn't ignore the personal part, the trust I had momentarily questioned. That night, Emily and I sat on the couch, holding hands and revisiting what happened at the shower. You know, she said, laughing softly through tears, I've never been so relieved to hear someone yell at me. Don't listen to him. I chuckled, rubbing her arm. Yeah, I owe you a big apology for even letting a seed of doubt grow. I should have trusted you completely. She leaned in and kissed my cheek. You do trust me. That's why we survived this. That's why we're going to survive Sean's next stunt too. We spent hours talking, planning for the baby, and reaffirming our commitment to each other. Sean's betrayal had been shocking, yes, but it had also strengthened our bond. By the end of the week, I felt a sense of closure. Sean may still try to meddle, but we were ready. Our family had rallied around us, and Emily and I had faced the storm together. We were stronger, more united, and more prepared for whatever came next. And I made a silent promise to myself. Sean's drama would never overshadow our lives or the joy of welcoming our baby. He might try, but we were untouchable when we stood together. The storm was over for now. The following weekend, we decided to hold a small, private celebration for just our closest family and friends. No Sean, no distractions, no lies, just a day to honour the baby and the love around us. The air smelled of fresh flowers and cool food, a stark contrast to the chaos of the last shower. Emily wore a soft blue dress that hugged her growing belly, and she glowed like the sun itself. I couldn't take my eyes off her. She caught my gaze and smiled, and I felt a warmth in my chest that no storm, no betrayal, could ever touch. My mom had baked a small cake, and my dad helped set up decorations. Lily ran around handing out cupcakes, clearly enjoying her role as little party planner. Even my aunt, who had been sceptical of everything Sean said, was laughing and teasing Emily about which baby names we'd chosen. The atmosphere felt normal, healing. As Emily opened gifts this time, I noticed the pure joy on her face. No tension, no doubt, no shadow of Sean hanging over us. Each present, from tiny socks to books, reminded me that this day was ours and not his to ruin. We gathered everyone for a toast. I raised my glass, feeling a lump in my throat. To family, I said, glancing at Emily, the kind that supports you, the kind that stands by you, and the kind that loves you no matter what, to our baby, who's already bringing so much joy into the world, and to ignoring drama that doesn't belong here. Everyone cheered, clinking glasses. Emily squeezed my hand, her eyes shimmering with tears of happiness. I love you, she whispered. I love you too, I replied. And in that moment, I realised that Sean's betrayal, as shocking as it had been, couldn't touch us when we were united. Our bond, our family, our baby, that was the real truth. The afternoon passed with laughter, games, and stories. Emily's belly was kissed, tiny booties were held up for admiration, and the soft hum of joy filled the backyard. It wasn't perfect, but it was real. And for the first time since Sean's interference, I felt a weight lifted entirely off my shoulders. Before everyone left, my mom pulled me aside. You handled that well, she said softly. Sean might try again, but you and Emily, your love and your trust will always win. I nodded, feeling a sense of peace I hadn't felt in days. Thanks, Mom. I think we finally see it clearly now. He's the chaos. We're the family that stands together. As we closed the gate and waved goodbye to our last guests, I looked at Emily, our baby kicking gently under her dress, and whispered, nothing and not Sean, not lies, not betrayal will ever break this family, not us. Emily smiled, resting her head against my chest, and I held her tight. The sun was setting, painting the sky in warm shades of gold and pink. It felt symbolic, the end of the storm, the beginning of our peaceful chapter. And in that moment, surrounded by love and laughter, I knew one thing for certain. Some family storms pass, but the bonds you fight for and protect last forever.